Alright, so I'm looking at using Illustrator to convert one of these images from the standard black and white, either PNG or JPEG image that it is, and update it. So I've already just brought this in. It's really easy to do, a standard sort of drag and drop sort of thing where you can just grab something like that and just drop it in there. Notice that I dropped it on the bar at the top just in accessing it. So I'm going to start with this Vanilla Ice picture and then I'll move on to the Iron Man one to show you something important about doing stuff a little down the track. Now, this is going to be involving using a simple tool known as the image trace. So if you look at the object menu up the top here, go down to image trace, you can make and expand. Make and expand does the make process, but then automatically expands it into something you can then manipulate. However, what I've discovered is that when you do the make and expand, it automatically assumes whatever it makes it as, whether black and white or color, and that leads to problems down the track. So I'm just going to do make at this point. It does its refinement, and it's already updated it so you can have a look at it. However, I've got no way of manipulating it, so I'm going to have to go up to the window here and go to image trace. This gives me the tool set, and you'll notice the mode here, and this is the important one, is in black and white. I actually want this in color so I can colorize this image. And it does some changes and that sort of stuff. But the important thing here, please don't crash, is that it will then allow me to edit in color. And I'll show you how to deal with the problem if it stuffs you up. Anyhow, that's now converted into the type that it needs. And then just go down to Object, Image Trace, and then Expand. And get rid of this window because I don't need it. So it's expanded this into all its composite pieces. If we look at the Layers menu, it's all layer one, but if we open it up, a group. Open it again, we've got all the individual paths that we can then actively manipulate. So the first step I'm going to do is actually just ungroup everything. This allows me easier access to all the bits and pieces. So if I select a individual piece, like say that piece of the face, I can then go straight down, I'll get rid of that bit, and add a color to it. So let's go for a nice, I don't know, face color, somewhere in there. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. I'm guessing at this point. If you want to manipulate multiple sections at the same time, holding down Shift, obviously you can select all these additional bits and pieces. I have no idea what I'm selecting at this point. I might want that bit of the face. And what it's done is it's created a region with an outline. So if I select all of that into the same color, you can sort of see what I'm doing here. So, boom. Then of course we want to make sure that all these are together. So we'll just go through and select that. Now if you notice the arrow here with the weird things, we want the pointer because that way we can select stuff, and boom. Let's offset that with something, I don't know, interesting. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Whoops, I've just moved it, undo. So you can see here, I'm just keeping the line work and just adjusting the internals of it. No, it's too much, but you can, yeah, well, you know, you can understand what I'm doing. I have no idea at this point in terms of colour selection. I'm just going to go something hideous, aren't I? I want something a little softer than that. And as I slide it around, I can hopefully get a decent colour. That might do. Something a little richer, I think, but yeah. Anyhow, I'm getting distracted at this point. Now, I haven't done this hand, so I want to take this. That is my guiding point. I need to hold on to that piece of information. So there are swatches here somewhere, and I should, that's just corrected to a web save colour, undo. I'm just going to take that setting there, copy, and then when I zoom in on this other hand here, plus, 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 making sure that I select within the bands, I'm then going to make sure that they all get that colour. And so that's a sort of a cheap, easy hack, and you might be able to adjust all the little bits and pieces in there as necessary. But that's pretty much it. You got the process, it's fairly simple. The only exception, of course, is sometimes when it does a colour conversion. Actually, I'll do it with this one to show two stuff-ups that tend to happen. So the first thing worth pointing out is that there's a break in this line here, and it will not be able to deal with it effectively. There may be techniques for doing so, but I haven't dived into it, so I'm not going to say I will know it. So when I make this, actually no, I'll just expand it straight away. It does a make, and expand it. What it's done is it's converted into a black and white, so you can notice the grayscale color here. Even if I select, say, I'll just ungroup it. So we'll select, say, that chest piece. Even if I want to change it to something great, like a red, it comes up grey. And this may be a problem that these individual line elements are locked into a grayscale color spectrum. So you can go up here in your color palette, and it's only in the color palette, the hamburger icon, change it to RGB. That then switches it to red, problem solved. However, every single one of these will need to be switched. And even if you go, even if I go select, if I select multiples, I can't switch them as a group. So it just makes things a little more frustrating in terms of that. And the second problem, of course, is that, say, the backdrop here, if I want to change the backdrop and I just want to go into that, see what it affects. It affects a larger area than what you'd reasonably want to do. The trick here is to actually just make it see-through, and then on the layers menu, we'll just drop in a fresh layer, drag that layer underneath, and then we can add color to that layer. So hopefully there's a blob brush, paintbrush tool will do. I'm going to lock that top layer and I'm just going to paint underneath it. And so here on that selected layer, I should be able to then not do anything. Wonderful. Pencil, and here's where me trying to do blob brush tool. So here I just do the blob brushy thing underneath, and it goes into the background. Now you can see here the green, but it's not showing through that part because that part is not actually visible. Because when we look at, see that hand section, this selection tool, it's just not appropriately done. So here it doesn't know what the colors are. So if I select, say, select off and select that region, I'm just going to make that see-through. And here you can see it slowly changing the type of line work a piece at a time to make bits show through with the blob brush underneath. And that pretty much covers this. The other 4 in the set, or 3 in the set, same sort of thing. You can do that with a whole lot of them. This one, and this one are the easiest. That one takes a little bit more work and it's a little more of a challenge, but you should be able to pick one and just do it. And that concludes what I want to talk about. So thank you for your time.